Hi, my name's Dale and welcome back to Metal Tips and Tricks. And we're continuing the National Shop Tour. And right now we're at Bob Trumbly's shop. And we're just south of Denver. We're going to talk about some of the stuff he does in his shop here. And we're going to especially talk about this very interesting Southbend lathe because it has a great history. And you've owned it about 10 years, you told me, but you bought it from your mentor. And what was his name again?
Roy. I bought it from him 98 years old, I think.
Okay.
He didn't swing a sledgehammer very well anymore, and so he actually had let it sit for quite a while. I made sure it was sat for a year before I bought it from him. Make sure he didn't change his mind, you know.
Okay.
But he was the original owner. He bought it in 1957 from M.L. Foss in Denver.
And the placard is actually still here on the lathe.
Yeah, and it's actually in 1954 by the serial numbers and by the card you get from Southbend.
Okay.
But it's a 13-inch. And it's the lathe that he mentored me on when I was 17 years old and on and off for 44 years after that.
So you know this lathe inside and out.
And when I got it home, after I bought it, I took it all apart and everything looked perfect. So I put it all back together and painted the pieces I took apart. And I also fixed the chuck socket.
You told me you broke the chuck, and it's great.
Over tightened it when I was a kid, and it had been that way for years. And when I got it, I can't leave it that way. I've got to fix this.
Well, it was funny. So we're talking about the, you know, how you put the chuck key in here, and that cracked on him. And you finally said that you could admit that you did it since he's gone now.
Nobody to give me a hard time now.
Now, what I want to show you guys here is Bob came up with a great way of putting a chuck on. And as we know, one of the challenges with any lathe is putting the chuck on. And you came up with just a great solution. So let's talk about what you have assembled here, because I think it's fantastic. And it's just a great solution for this.
Well, as you get older, you have trouble wrestling heavy objects around. So
Yes.
This is really my take on how to manage something that was never painful. It was always painful even when I was younger.
Okay.
As I got older, it just got worse. So I decided I needed a way to, instead of using my hand on top of a board that was there to protect the ways, and using my hand as a wedge to elevate the chuck to the right height, and then try to turn everything in at the same time. You've all done this, I'm sure.
Yes.
I came up with a way to let gravity work for me.
Good.
So the first thing I built was a little platform that has notches cut in it for the ways, just to line it up perfectly.
Let's see if I can get this up here a little bit.
I can say we can tip it back a little bit.
Yeah. So we can see these will just fit right in here so it lines up this way on your machine.
Right.
Perfect.
And then when I want to go put the chuck on, I slide it into place. I can also carry it with this fairly easily since it's strapped on. This clamp strap holds it in place. It's not going to topple off of the...
And that's one of the things I like about this is the set of handles. But you were saying one of the things is you'd like to find a way to get the handles up higher because
If I had to do it all over again, it would be better if I had some way of having a handle on top.
Okay.
And I haven't figured it out yet, and I'm not going to re-engineer it now, but...
Yeah, if it works, don't fix it.
That's it. Or if it, if it isn't broke, break it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So what you ended up doing is you ended up building the block.
I built the table, the platform at the bottom.
Okay.
Then I took some 2x4s and sistered them all together and made a big enough thing to cover the chuck.
Okay.
And then I walked the chuck was on the machine. I walked the 2x4s up against it and just drew a line under them. And with my really great woodworking skills, I managed to butcher out a hole that was sort of the shape of the chuck.
So one of the things is the conversation you guys didn't get to be a part of is Bob likes metal a lot more than wood, let's just say. We'll just leave it at that. We'll just leave it there, you know. So what was great, so you're able to just get that line there, cut it out on the bandsaw, and then fit it back in. But...
Yeah. Well, it needed a little elevation, so I can show you. I did add some little wedges right here, right there and there.
So if it's not cut perfect, it's not the end of the world. Just going in with a couple wood wedges here just made it perfect. Yeah.
So now when I go to put my chuck on, I don't have to have my hand underneath it. I also have my ways protected, and I have a handy carrying device all together.
And you also have your threads protected.
Yes.
Because you're not going to be fighting the chuck.
Right. I'm not going to
It
cross.
just slides
40-pound chuck in my hand.
So let's just push it up there.
We
and
just
see
slide
how
the
it-
whole carriage there. It is actually just a tiny bit low, but it's not much to it. Slide it in, and I just thread it on with it, like so, until it catches. Get a little bit on it, and then I can just slide this back out of the way and finish threading the chuck on.
Well, and it does kind of need to almost be a touch low, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're never going to get it exactly right.
Yeah. But if it was too tight, it would just bound here.
Yeah.
And then I like that you used the tie-down straps.
Yeah, just a piece of box strapping material.
And this clamp, this is not, you ordered this, you can probably just get it on Amazon.
Yeah,
or
and
whatever.
I think it's called a trunk clamp or something like that. But
Okay.
Oh, it's an aircraft clamp. It was an aircraft device of some sort. But I wanted one that had springs on it so I could have a little tension on this thing.
And when you set this up, I also noticed that it wasn't quite right the first time, so you just lowered it down here, and that was your adjustment.
Yeah, because all this is riveted together, and once you rivet it, you've pretty well given up on making any adjustments there. So I have to make it with the wood.
I got to say, I think this is one of the great solutions, because we always fight this, and there's different ways to do it. And that's why I wanted to show you guys what he came up with here, because I just thought it was a really nice solution. There's other ways of doing it, but this one here, I just think it's very safe.
Yeah.
It's not, the chuck's not going to fall off the block. It lines up. It protects your lathe and everything. So I think it's great.
And the only thing you have to watch out with it is kind of top heavy. Okay. So when you get a hold of the handles, get a hold of it. You know, don't wishy-washy with it. You're going to drop it. But you're going to do that if you're just holding the chuck too. So.
Well, that's true. And you've got one set up for your 4-jaw also.
Yes.
That's great.
And then when we go to take it off, it's just the reverse. As always, make sure your jaws are retracted so they're not sticking out.
Oh, good point.
And that's not just with this, that's any time. I mean,
That's actually a good point. I never thought about that. You do want to retract those.
Yeah, otherwise you cut yourself up if nothing else.
Oh, that is.
But with this, it won't work at all with the jaw sticking out. So then we just slide it back over. Oh, I almost did that, but I can't. Spin it off. Back this up a little bit.
Now, one of the things I did is I asked Bob to set this up in a way that we could get the camera angle in here. So normally he would be blocking you guys, but
And there we are.
he's being polite and doing it for the camera.
Pick it up and walk away with it.
Isn't that great? Bob, that is an excellent solution. I want to say thank you for letting me come out to the shop. So if you guys like this series, please give me some thumbs up, and also Bob some thumbs up, and leave your positive, supportive comments. And until next time, go out in your shop and
Build something cool.
thanks, guys.